you know that this is from two people who have actually owned these cars for 2 years.
What other car? There is no other car.
No.
But how much was the insurance?
My insurance, this was how much on this car a month? And my finance was... See, this is the interesting part, and again, why I wanted to talk about it with you in the car. Welcome everyone to this video where I'm reviewing my M5 versus my cousin's 540i. And actually, you know what, I'm gonna say it straight away. Instantly, we've basically driven the cars pretty much the same amount to get here. You can hear my fan constantly just... That's one of the things that I hate about the M5. It's so loud. Literally, this car is completely quiet. But then your engine bay is always so hot. We were working on the car the other day and oh my god. It was...
The fans run only after like a really hard drive. Like if you're driving for like 20-30 minutes really hard, park the car up, then the vents will open, the fans will stay on for a couple of minutes.
Ah, okay.
Whereas on the M cars, it stays on every time you drive, doesn't it?
Yeah. Pretty much as soon as the car gets up to temperature, it's always on.
This one's only after like a really hard drive.
Okay, well there you go. Okay, so the premise of this video was I had an idea which I wanted to talk about the difference between the two cars, but not only just that, but the price proposition between them. Okay, so with my M5, I basically picked this car up for £50,500. It was just over 20,000 miles. It's one previous owner, and the spec of it, I'll be honest, I was pretty lucky to get it at that price point. So it's got the full adaptive icon headlights, which all M5s come with. We've got adaptive cruise control. I have the digital key. I've got a 360 camera and the Bowers & Wilkes sound system, front and rear heated seats, which not all of them come with. Now, with this car, it's basically running around 600 brake horsepower. I've not modified it at all in my entire ownership of the car. I've had the car for what's now become 2 years, and I've not had to do anything to it. I feel like dynamically and performance wise, it didn't need it from me. My cousin's he was always complaining about that because he said I should have really modified the car whilst I've had the car, but genuinely I've not needed to. I felt like the performance and everything else was really good with the car, and I never really had an excuse to modify it. But let's go into talking about his 5 Series.
Alright, yeah, now we move over to the 540i. So I bought this car in a month after TAM. So last year this month actually. It's been 2 years and 1 month since I've owned it. We picked it up for £32,500. It had 32,500 miles on it, one owner. The reason I picked this one up was because at the time of buying a 540i, it was very hard and very rare to pick up a 540i with icon headlights. That was like a must for me. I think they make the whole front end completely different to stock, well, a car without the icons. And the other reason I liked this car was because it had a sunroof. A lot of the 540i's, I'm not even in the camera lads, a lot of the 540i's for sale at that time either had the headlights but they didn't have the sunroof, or had the sunroof without the headlights. This car has got icon headlights, sunroof, adaptive suspension, comfort seats. It's got heated steering wheel, heated front seats. No, and then yeah, it's just got majority of like the spec that you want. Stock power on these are slightly lower than the M340i, for example. So these stock are 330. M340i Supras are 360 to 380 because they've got the TU engine. I've spent about 1,000. I think I've spent about 1,000 on the actual performance mods. So downpipe, the high pressure fuel pump, and a tune, as everyone says, email tune, downpipe, and a map. And it's running about 430 wheels, 480 to the crank maybe. I've never dynoed it. It's what Google has told me. But boot mod stage 2 plus, can't complain. It's smooth, never have any hiccups with it. The power curve is really nice. You've got boost throughout the entire range. It doesn't die off like it used to, and boost kicks in about 2,000. As Tam said earlier, I did want him to map his M5, and it would have been a monster, but it's quick enough as he is. Anything else? white leathers. That was another thing where it was hard to get the white leathers with everything else mixed in. I think that's it spec wise. Yeah.
I'm glad that he brought up the leathers because, to be honest, I actually had a courtesy car for a short amount of time. It was a 530e and it had black leathers. And we both sat inside of the car and we both said straight away, the black leathers just make it feel like a normal BMW. And having
really closed off and like
it doesn't feel special.
It doesn't feel breathy, it doesn't feel spacious.
It just felt like as though you were just in this car that was a little bit cocooned in and stuff like that. And both of us having very similar color interior was by coincidence in some ways, but it worked out where we both appreciated it very differently after we experienced the car with just all black leathers.
So Tam's car is up for sale. And we're getting rid of it, and my car is also up for sale and we're getting rid of it. We did plan to do this video a year and a half, 2 years ago, when my car was actually modified and had the kit on it, yellow DRLs, exhaust on. In total modifications was that I did on the car. I did a back box delete, so I put the quad tailpipes on, spoiler, diffuser, side skirts, front splitter, yellow DRLs, had an intake on that was custom made by Mr. GCC. And then what else did we have in the car that we took off?
Side
spacers. We had the M style
kit.
Yeah, we had the M style side mirrors.
That's about it.
And we took off the neons. We had neons in the car. Again fitted and supplied by Mr. GCC. But yeah, the car's back to stock. The only thing it's got left on it now is a downpipe and high pressure fuel pump. So literally it's as stock as it can be, apart from the power. And yeah, you can see from the video, just as a daily car, even if you don't do anything else to the car, but you just do a downpipe and a tune, game changer. Like legit, I'm just driving the car, wallowing around, I put my foot down, and I don't expect it myself. I put my foot down in comfort, and the weight it just flew off, because it doesn't have the theatrics of the exhaust. It's like your car in the 7 where it just shoots and flies.
It just goes.
And it literally surprised me. I was driving the car on the way here and I got surprised. I was like, shit. Like, it's not slow. It's not slow. Yeah, it's not slow.
I think the other thing that I would like to say here is the fact that he's actually had some fun against an F80 M3.
Yeah.
Destroyed it.
Stage 2 F80 M3 on a roll up to again like 100. Destroyed it. M140i stage 2, I think that was stage 2 plus. Again on the roll, destroyed it. The only time this car slightly lacks is if you're at really high speeds and you're doing a roll and it's dry, because every other car will put the power down, and because it's like a 2-ton plus car, it's got a lot of weight to pull on it, and she pulls it and she does well, but she's still a fatty, so it is hard to get that same power out of other cars that are a lot lighter.
And that's the interesting part here, because now let me bring my M5 back into shot. So this is my point, right? Up until you're going to illegal speeds, these two cars are neck and neck. We've gone on a private road and we've done a little bit of a drag race, and genuinely up until around 80 to 90 miles per hour, they're absolutely neck and neck.
And it also depends on who shoots off first.
Performance wise, obviously that car being stock, this car being stage 2, the reality of it is you don't get to see this car's full potential against that unless you're breaking the speed limit.
For the M5 to hit its 0 to 60 at the same record, you need quite a few runs. For one, for the tyre to heat up and actually grip, and then 2, for the car, I don't know, for BMWs it takes a few times for them to get to their potential of now we're consistent.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's in a real life scenario where he's pulled up, I've pulled up and we're at traffic lights and you put your foot down, it's too close. It's genuinely too close, especially with the money difference.
Yeah.
For a car that let's say I've spent 35k on it in total, for a 35k car to be pushing that power and to be like running and still be so wallowy, comfort, and just smooth to drive, no brainer. Literally bang for buck, is stupid.
I'll be honest, after I bought my car and we were driving between the two, I said straight away, the value proposition of the 540i is really hard to beat. Now this is the bit where I kind of also want to talk about that, which was the handling dynamics between the two. Now we're going to jump into both of the cars and we're going to do a little bit of driving and talking about it, and both of us inside of each other's car. And I've driven both of them. I've driven both of them enthusiastically. It's it's surprising how different they handle.
It's completely different.
But again, we're talking about it from driving it enthusiastically. When you look at driving both of the cars as a daily, that's when it gets a little bit more tricky to discuss, because having something a little bit more firm like the M5 isn't always what you want, and having something like the 540 with all the comfort seats and stuff like that, it all of a sudden feels very similar to a 7 Series. And as you guys know, and I've talked about it in my 7 Series video, my uncle has a 730D, and genuinely the ride comfort of that against this, if you didn't drive them back to back, you would think that they were basically the same car.
And that's with 20s and having very thin tyres.
Exactly.
So we're running 245, 35, 20. And I'll be honest, if these were on 19s or 18s, same car, same performance, this would genuinely feel like a 7. It's just because, one, when I bought the car, it came with run flats, which we've changed over now. But the run flats, having thin tyres, having big alloys, you do feel some of the bumps.
Just like you said then, you know, I think this car, perfectly acceptable for how it rides, but this car, when you're in it as a daily, it feels very, very different. So I think now's a good time. We're just gonna go for a little bit of a drive. We're gonna jump in the same car, and we're just gonna talk about it from the other person's point of view, because I'm gonna let him drive my car and I'm gonna be in the passenger seat. He can talk about the differences from his point of view, and I can talk about it from mine, and then we're gonna do the opposite way around, where I'm gonna be driving his car and then we can talk about it that way. So let's jump into the cars. Which car should we go in first?
I feel weird.
So okay, I'm gonna, unfortunately I forgot my other mic in the 7 Series, which is so silly of me, but I'm gonna have to hold it here like this, right? So he's driving this car at the moment. How does it feel?
The thing is, they both feel the same, because the interior and the steering wheel, everything is the same. When you actually sat in the car, it feels the same. The only difference that you notice is, one, the seats are a lot more hugging, and they're a lot more, they hold your shape. If you've got any thick curves or thick hips, they hold you in place. And then two is that the car's a lot, again, like I said, not stiffer, but not as boaty
Compliant.
or compliant with the bend you're taking. Automatically you can feel that the steering wheel is a lot more direct. We're in efficient throttle, we're in comfort suspension and comfort steering, and this is still a lot stiffer than what I'm used to.
I think again, it's difficult to talk about this car and your car when it's smooth roads, because there's not enough in it, versus when you're on more of a bumpy road. That's when we'll be like, okay, right, you can actually really see the differences between the two.
Okay, so to give a comparison, and to give more of a real life example of personally why I would choose a 540i over an M5, which is shocking, because I was always glazing over Tam's M5, and I was just always glazing the idea of having an M5 would be the ultimate daily car, whatever. So long story short, I hit a pothole, my car tyre was gone, and I really needed a car for the weekend. It's my mum's birthday coming up, I had a few things to sort out, and at that time I was on specialist insurance on my car, so I couldn't drive any other car. So Tam lovingly put me on his policy, we borrowed the car. So on that weekend of having the car, the big things I noticed was just general driving like we are right now. You can feel a lot more of the road. You can feel all the little bits of the road, any little bits that there's unevenness or the road's not completely flat, you can feel it in this car. In my car, you feel it slightly, but it's a lot more dampened than this is. This is a lot more doo-doof, doo-doof, and you can feel that. The other difference that I found between my car and the M5 was just general driving around. It doesn't feel as just gliding and smooth. And it's expected, it's a sports car, it's meant to be top of the range for a 5 Series, and you're meant to be able to take it on track and just destroy everyone that's in your way. So for the UK roads, I personally think the M5 is a little bit too rough. If they could refine it to the point where comfort was the same as mine, it would be perfect. It's a no-brainer. You can drive anyone around, you can drive a baby, you can drive a cow, whatever you want, they'll be comfortable.
Which is actually funny, because that's literally one of the reasons why I'm selling this car, because it's just slightly too firm for me to have my daughter in. And you know, the reality of it is, when it comes to that kind of having a car like this and then literally being handicapped to driving below the speed limit because it's a little bit too firm for them. You know, if she was over the age of 2, it would be probably a different story, but as a newborn, it really shows how delicate it is to have a firmer car like this.
In general, just on the motorway, we stayed inefficient, we stayed with active cruise control, the cars in front of us just guiding it, whatever. And that part's nice, but again, like I said, the UK roads aren't flat and smooth like they are in Dubai or America or Germany, for example. We've got a lot of dips, we've got a lot of unevenness. And that car brings it out because it's meant to. As a sports car, it's meant to bring out all the feel of the road. So as a driver, you know what you're doing. But when you're not trying to drive fast and you're literally just trying to cruise, you can feel everything.
The fuel economy part, this is the part that we can both talk about quite interestingly. I know you had the M5 when you went to London. I think you were in London a lot as well, where I was in stuck central London in traffic. When you have the car on idle in this car, it's really bad. You're literally, it's thirsty.
It's the same as mine. If you've got my car in idle and it's just sitting there in a car park, for example, you can watch the MPG drop 1 mile at a time. It will slowly, one by one, it will slowly go down. And when you're in slow creeping traffic in London, where you're accelerating, slowing down, especially when you've got a 2-ton car to pull, the MPG ends up being the same, because this car's got a lot more torque and a lot more brake horsepower than mine stock, so you can pull that weight. Mine has less power. Yeah, this car's torque. It's weird when we first talked about it, because I swear your car was basically like 1 or 2 miles per gallon better. Very similar. And locally, I get 18 to 20. Motorway, I get 38. So we're actually very similar.
So I think locally,
driving,
genuinely, like, because obviously our driving is slightly different where we're driving, but
I'm slightly more of a heavier foot in terms of just local driving. I'm more likely to put my foot down and just mess around a bit more than Tam has.
Yeah. So with me, genuinely speaking, I was getting around 20 miles per gallon locally. Again, the way that I drove and the places that I was going wasn't anything too crazy, whereas obviously with you probably did a lot more stop starts and stuff like that. I think that makes a big difference.
So like when you really want to put your foot down and you need to get going, this car flies like wow. But it would, not a lot of cars will keep up. Very, 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 very limited amount of cars.
Stock cars, nothing. Like you either same speed or that's it. You're slower. Modified is the only point where you get faster than this. Basically.
Even on the motorway, when you're trying to get into a different lane or you're trying to move yourself. When I drove this over my car, game changer.
It's confidence. I feel like the confidence this car gives, because you trust the brakes, you trust the handling, and because the dynamics of this car gives you a very weird sensation where you almost instinctively can do everything.
The car makes you feel like you can do it, but it is down to driver skill. Like if I drive my car, I've got a lot more confidence to push the car around that bend. When I drove this car, same roads, you can feel like the car can do it, and you feel like the car is saying to you, let's do it, let's go around that bend at 100, let's go around that bend at 80. But again, it comes down to the driver skill. As a driver, you can become overconfident and you can become a bit too reliant on the four-wheel drive system and the electronics to save your life. But when you do that, you do go around the corners really fast, and you think to yourself, okay,
I feel like
we're getting a bit too quick for my skills here.
But let's jump into his car and I'm gonna drive that and we'll see how the driving is different. I'll be honest, the one thing I really regret not doing is the widescreen Apple CarPlay.
That's the other thing I got done on the car. It was literally just a Wi-Fi antenna that was missing, that you plug it in and get it coded, but you can get full screen Apple CarPlay in the car.
So which mode should I put it in? Should I leave it in Eco or Comfort?
For just general driving?
Just general driving.
Keep it in Comfort.
Okay.
It's in Comfort Plus. There's another thing that you can do in the 540i is I coded in Comfort Plus, and what Comfort Plus does is it's meant to soften the dampers slightly, but every time you move off from a get-go, your car's actually in second gear rather than first, so you don't get that initial jerk.
That's nice.
So you don't get the initial jerk of first gear where it's a bit hesitant and then it changes to second. Straight away it rolls off in second and it's smooth. The other thing that's nice is, well, because the M5, well, the M cars have the option for M1 and M2 and I don't, What I did was on Sport Individual, I've set it as Comfort Suspension, Comfort Steering, but Sport Plus gearbox and Sport Plus engine. So then you've got a mix of, if you want to drive around local and have it comfy but be able to put your foot down, then you can.
So okay, instantly for me, the steering feels different. It's just a little bit more soft, and it's not as direct, which kind of makes it a little bit nicer to cruise around with, if that makes sense. So here's my thing, right? This car is not as easy to review as the M5, because a lot of M5s come with the same seats, etc, etc, whereas with the 5 Series, not all of them come with comfort seats. So this specific car feels very nice to live with and very nice to drive because of these seats being the comfort seats. The 530e that I had as a courtesy car, honestly, I did a long distance drive in that car. Suspension wise, at the beginning, I was like, wow, this is so smooth, so comfortable. But because I drove the car to London and back, as I did the drive, the longer I was in the car, the more my back hurt, the more I was just like, oh, it's just not as comfortable as my M5 is. And I thought that was so strange that I felt like that, because I would have thought that the 5 Series, all of them would have felt more comfortable, but it wasn't the case. This car does feel way more comfortable than the 530e ever did. You know what the thing is it genuinely does depend on the kind of driver you are and what you're wanting from your car. My opinion, this for me would have sufficed. The whole time I've had the M5, I would have been just as happy with this. The only thing that I kind of feel like I personally would have been like, oh man, I wish I had it as an M5 is when you get onto those country lanes, the way I could drive the M5, I know that had I not experienced it, I wouldn't have missed out on it. But because I've experienced it, now I'm like, I want a car that can also do that. It can just switch and become like that. The M5 is perfectly acceptable with its ride comfort and all these things. This is just a little bit nicer, and it's that mindset of it's perfectly fine to live with that car. This is just that little. If he had never driven this car and just drove the M5, I don't think you would have been like, bro, that doesn't feel comfortable. It's because you live with this car that when you jump into the M5, you straight away, because again, everything pretty much feels the same. Same steering wheel, same paddles, you know, door switch, everything is all the same. So because you're going from the exact same car, but it's a comfort mode, to the sportier mode,
you're going from the same chassis, same generation car, to a car that was refined to be the ultimate driving vehicle. So it makes sense. When I went from this car to the M5, I could tell that it's the ultimate driving vehicle because it's quick as shit. But I could also tell that it's not the ultimate comfort vehicle. And that's only because I got spoiled with this car. If this car didn't have adaptive suspension, again, it would not be as comfy.
That's
because
true, actually.
My friend had the exact same car, not the same seats, but he had the exact same G30 without adaptive. And as soon as I got into mine, he said, game changer. He was like, your car feels like it's on air.
You see,
and that was before ownership. That was going to see the car for the first time.
You see, this is the interesting part, and again, why I wanted to talk about it with you in the car. Your car is so good because it's this car. This exact 540i is this good. Had it had been a car without the comfort seats, without the adaptive suspension, even without the icon headlights, because in all fairness, those icon headlights,
big difference.
Makes a big difference, especially when you have the adaptive high beam assist and stuff.
The whole front end just changes.
Without those three things, you know, you can get another 5 Series. You can find them quite easily with a sunroof, or you know, being a B58, it's a 540. But the combination of everything you've got with this car is why it's so easy to compare it against the M5. Because if you didn't have any one of these extra features we've spoken about, it wouldn't have been as nice of a car to live with.
100%.
And that's really weird to talk about. It's weird because it's not as easy to find one of these, but at the price point that this car is, bloody hell, man, it makes it difficult to decide
because
against?
I picked up my car for 32 and a half. You can pick up this exact same car now for 23, 24, same spec, same mileage. You can pick these up for now 24,000. And for a 24k car to be, one, as comfy as this, two, be as quick as this, three, be just so usable on an everyday basis of just boot space, passenger space, and just those things together for 23k. What other car can you get for £23,000 where you're close to 500 brake, and yet you can drive this car like a limousine? What other car? There is no other car.
No, there actually isn't.
And that was the main reason I bought 540i, because when I was adding everything up, cool, I could have gone for a F80 M3, M4, I could have gone for the F10 M5, I could have got an M340i. There's all those different cars, but they don't do everything in one go as nice as this car does.
Yeah.
Especially at the fact that you don't have the M tax. And that's a big thing that people don't realise. The M tax is real. And that's not just your servicing or your brakes, that's not just, it's your insurance, your road tax. All of those things, you need to think about it. It adds up.
It does. See, the fact that the fuel is similar is interesting.
Yeah, but for example, how much is insurance?
My insurance at the moment is £400 a year. I mean a month.
Okay.
A month.
When I got my car, I was paying £780 for my 3 Series. When I got this car, no one would insure me. My current insurer said to me no. He said, your age, the power, the value of the car, we're not going to do it. I went to a specialist. They were quoting me £4,000 for insurance, and I got it down to 2,800. And now for this year's renewal, I'm on 1,200. But again, with these type of cars, you need to take that into consideration.
You see, that's interesting because with me, the first year I had the M5, I got we live in a similar area, by the way, guys.
Not far at all.
And because he's a little bit younger than me, it kind of makes the insurance quotes kind of easy to compare, because it would kind of end up being a little bit similar. But yeah, so the M5 first year I was paying, what was it? It was around £260 a month.
Yeah.
So that's around what, three and a bit thousand.
I was paying about 220, 230 a month.
And then my renewal came. They bumped it up to 400 and something pounds. And in all fairness, at the time, I wish I had looked into more of the specialists and stuff like that. At this point now, it came to the point where I was just like, there's no point, I'm selling the car. There's no need for me to look at specialist insurance. But it bugged me that I was paying so much on insurance, and it really wanted me to I really wanted to get rid of the car just because of how much I was paying on insurance. And £400.
Because what you were paying for insurance on this car, for the M5, sorry, was my monthly. What he was paying on insurance, just insurance alone, was literally my monthly. I'm paying about $420 a month for the 540i, and considering someone else is paying the same amount just to have the car insured, it's mind-boggling. That's a crazy one. So
your finance was how much on this car a month?
$420.
And how much did you put down as a deposit?
3.5.
3.5. Okay, so you put 10%.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put £5,000 down, which was 10%, and my finance was £700. No, first year was £810, and the second year.
Wow, expensive.
Very expensive. And the second year I had it refinanced, and I got it down to £714, which
still really expensive.
Ridiculously expensive.
And that's the one reason it put me off looking at an M5, because it's very easy to buy the car, and when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, I can afford the car, I can get an M5, but it's a running cost. It's the other little bits and bobs that you don't realise. Like when I bought the 540i, I didn't check for my insurance. I checked the day before of going to, I put the deposit down, I checked the day before of picking up the car, what's my insurance? And that really put me in a sticky situation, because I was like, I'm not willing to pay $4,000 for insurance on a car that's not an M car. And that's what a lot of people don't look into when they're buying cars. They look at the bigger picture of
I can afford it.
The actual car itself. They don't look at the smaller details of the running costs, your insurance, your road tax. Because premium road tax is not a joke. 50, 60 quid a month, but you're not expecting, it's not a joke, for just road tax.
It's bloody, it's when you add everything up, that's when you're like...
Because then you go from, for example, in your scenario of, you're starting off at £800 a month, just for the car, and then your premium road tax was just another 60, so let's say we're on 860, and then you've got your insurance, which is another 400, we're already on £1,200. And that's a lot of people's monthly salaries gone in just that.
I do have to say that the way your car sounds, it's so nice.
And now Tam's just putting his foot down a bit to experience it. That's what I mean, but when I was in your car, I actually came out the seat. I lifted up.
So how much money has this car lost in your 2 years?
10k.
Same as that?
Yeah. If you go from the value I bought it at, the value I'm selling it at, around 10k. But I can bring a bit of the money back with the mods that I've got, like I sell in this car. My downpipe, my high pressure fuel pump, the kit, those bits and bobs, you can get a bit of money back, but both cars have lost 10k over time.
They've lost 10k, but my car has cost me
a lot more to run.
More, because the finance was such a different price.
Finance, your insurance, your road tax. Because my road tax finished, the premium finished last year. Servicing, I serviced the car, it cost me 240 or 340 from MBM Autohouse specialist, and that was my service done.
But I think they take basically the same amount of oil, right?
Same amount of oil. You've got 2 more spark plugs than me.
Yeah.
No, your oil capacity is bigger than mine actually.
It's only slightly bigger, but I don't think it's drastic.
I'm sure yours is like 9 litres.
Yeah, but what's yours?
Mine's 6.
Oh, okay.
Bigger, a lot bigger engine.
Bigger.
You're a 4.4 S3. So yeah, that another thing to take into
this car has a lot
factor.
More,
No, so that's another thing to take into consideration. Cost of this car.
Reliability-wise, in all fairness, though, they've been very similar. The only difference was weird is your tires, your wheels.
Yes.
Your wheels kept cracking.
So that's the thing with the 5 series in general. If you get these alloys that I have, it's meant to be a common fault of the wheels crack quite easily.
Whereas the M5,
yeah,
touch wood, it's never happened.
Solid. My one, I think I've re-welded them 4 times, changed my tyre 5 times in the past year, and that's not because they've worn out. That's just they pop. I hit like a little bit on the road where it's a bit dipped, and then it pops. It's not even a case of I hit it, drive down the road, and it's leaking air slowly. It literally didn't gone.
I'll be honest. If my finance was cheaper a month, I'd pick the M5. But because of how much more it was to have that over this,
knowing how much you've spent on that car, running it, buying it, whatever, would you still be willing to spend that same amount, or would you think to yourself,
I would want
I'd go
that
down to
car,
540?
but I'm not happy with how much I've paid for that car.
Yeah.
I want to do one other thing. Let's talk about the exterior differences between the cars, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. So let's talk about the differences between both the cars from the exterior point of view. Now, interior wise, very much the same. Only really the cluster, the heater control is slightly different, with mine being touchscreen, his one being buttons. And well, I guess the other interior differences we'll go through in a moment. But right, let's go through the exterior, right? So the obvious one at the front is the 2 front bumpers. The M5 one is a little bit more aggressive.
A lot more.
I don't want to be so thingy. What I find quite interesting is you got the fog lights, which that car doesn't have. Cool. Even though it has a feature with the headlights where it does have the high beam assist and stuff. But you see this design here, it's kind of copied over with the M5 one, but the M5 one comes up higher. If you see what I mean there. The front grille, much bigger on the M5. The annoying thing about the M5 one is you always end up getting leaves getting thrown into there, where I can see, I don't think you've really had that problem on yours, but much more lower and more aggressive front bumper on the M5. So obviously mine's got the adaptive high beam assist at the middle, so not high beam assist, adaptive cruise control difference just there. But we've got the 360 camera, and other than that, the front part there is basically the same.
The other biggest difference,
bonnet.
No, on the M5s they don't have active grills.
Oh, so
you can always see through your grill. On the G series,
you have an active grill.
You have an active grill, so you can't look through it.
Yeah.
Only when it opens.
You can disable that, but you can't. You basically have it.
Yeah.
Every one of them come with the car. The bonnet is different. I'll be honest, the bonnet, that ripple in the middle
Game changer.
looks so much more aggressive.
Yeah.
You don't notice it straight away, but there's always, you're looking at it, you're like, something's a bit more aggressive, and it's the bonnet. I feel like the bonnet,
From this angle of looking at your bonnet and then looking at mine, you can see how much of a difference those haunches and the angles and the cuts and the creases make on the front.
yeah.
Huge difference.
And obviously if we come down and look at the cars side by side, you'll be able to see, if you stay there, you'll be able to see, yes, my front arches are just a little bit wider. The side mirrors being different, this is again a bit more aggressive looking. Is your air diffuser, or I don't know what, the duct, that's the word I was thinking of. The air duct is at the bottom, whereas in the M5 is at the top.
Yeah.
So normally previously M cars would have them, but non-M cars wouldn't.
Yeah.
But nowadays the non-M cars do have it, but it's always at a lower point. I don't know if it's to do with the fact that higher speeds and stuff like that, you have a lot more compression of air in this top area and you want to get it out there. But an engineer or aerodynamic specialist would be better at explaining that. That looks really dodgy. The other big difference, again, obviously we do have the 360 camera difference here.
Don't mind the broken glass. It's temporary.
But the other difference is the door handles. Mine are solid color, whereas on the 5 you can see there's a little bit of chrome on yours.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you can get it without the chrome, if it's Shadowline edition or not.
This is the black edition.
This is the black edition, so I guess it comes with all like that.
Yeah.
The other big difference, he's got a sunroof. I've got a carbon fiber roof. I prefer the carbon fiber roof. He prefers the sunroof, which a lot of the M5s came with the carbon fiber roof. Very few of them were optioned with the sunroof, just because it means you get rid of a carbon fiber roof. I understand why, but yeah, it's one of those little differences. From the rear of the car, again, like I mentioned earlier, the rear arches are slightly wider on the M5, but pretty much apart from that, it's not as easy to tell, because he previously did have an M style rear diffuser, and obviously the exhausts were also they were slightly bigger than.
When it clicks, we're gonna enter a clip of the car when it was fully modified and it had all of its kit on it.
Yeah, this car basically looked like an M5 from the rear, and it shows that the rear bumpers aren't actually all that different. Apart from this being slightly wider maybe on the corners, I can't tell any other difference. The curvature around here is just, I don't know if it's slightly more aggressive or if it's the same. It almost looks the same.
I personally feel that they're actually identical. I don't feel like it's wider at the rear.
So after doing some research on Google, it says that they are different, but checking out on real OEM, if we actually have a look at the rear quarter panel part, you will actually see that it is the same between the normal 5 Series and the M5, meaning the M5 isn't actually wider at the rear. The other couple of differences, well, similarities is spoiler, lights, everything else is the same between the cars. I think the brakes, weirdly enough, even though mine are a lot bigger, we both have blue calipers, which kind of makes them look a little bit more similar. Obviously my brakes are a lot bigger, and the wheels and tires, so what size is my rears? I think it's what?
295s.
Yeah, from what I remember.
So your rears are 285, 35, 20.
And your rears are 275, 30, 20.
Yeah.
So a little bit wider on the rears and a little bit taller.
Okay, yeah.
But the fronts is where the big difference is. Because whereas yours is, what was it, 2.3?
What is this? This is a 275, 35, 20. This is 235, 35.
245, 35, 20. So between the rears is only a little bit difference in terms of width, but between the fronts,
You've got my rears on your fronts.
yeah, basically.
That's the biggest difference.
And that is a pretty chunky difference. Oh, I guess the other kind of interior difference I've just noticed, M5s come with heads-up display. It's an option on the 5 Series. Pretty much all M5s always come with a heads-up display. Other than that, they're basically...
Other than that, literally, they're basically the same. You get an M5 interior. So you get the M5 seats, steering wheel, you get the little carbon trim, the gear knob is slightly different. Otherwise, interior-wise, it's more or less the same. If you compare that,
come and have a look at what I mean about the bottom part of the dash being The bottom part, the bottom white part,
Yes.
it's leather.
Yeah.
Whereas for some reason, every other part in your car is the same leather,
Yeah.
but just the bottom part of the dash.
Whereas again, if you compare it to the 540i, the difference is you don't get the M5 seats, you don't get the M5 carbon trim, you don't get the M5 screen here for your dials and your clock, and obviously the buttons here and the little cutout. Otherwise, the actual space, the actual buttons and the functionality you have is more or less the same.
Yeah. And your rear seats are basically the same.
Yeah.
Again, mine's got the other option of the heated rear seats and the little touchscreen thing there. So technically, is mine classed as 3-zone climate control? 4-zone. Ah, yes. And yours is 3-zone. But actually, there's another big interior difference that we didn't talk about between our cars. Sound system.
Yes.
He's got Harman Kardon, which compared to the base sound system on the 5 Series, this is really good.
Yeah.
Bowers and Wilkins sound system, just that little bit better.
The way to put it is, if you're buying a car brand new and you've got the option to spec it, save you £5, put the £5 in the comfort
Something
seats,
else,
the sunroof, your headlights, something else. Harman Kardon will do the job. If you're buying a used car, like Tam did, then if you can buy a car with Bowers Wilkin, get it. 100% game changer. There is a big difference between the clarity and the bass between your car and my car.
For most volumes, the bass is almost as good in this car, but it's when you get higher up that you really notice the difference. I'll be honest, the M5 sometimes when I've left it on max volume for a slightly long period, I'm like, I'm getting too old for this, man. It's actually just a little bit too loud for me. you have to do it in moderation, whereas in this car, I think if you're keeping it around like 50-60% of the volume, it's very comparable. You should look at the engine bay differences.
We're going to skip the boot because it's the same thing basically, but this is what the engines of the 540i and the M5 will look like. So again, to take into consideration, the actual engine bay itself is the same size on both cars. The actual space that you have in this front is the exact same size, but the difference is you're putting a 3 litre and you're putting a 4.4. You're putting twin turbos and you're doing a single turbo.
What I find interesting about it is okay, so when you look at the M5 engine, you notice that pretty much most of it looks very similar on that car from this part onwards. It's everything here has been shifted around. So as this car, we've got an airbox here. On this car is where you've got your coolant reservoir, which, as many people know, on the F90 M5 is actually a weak point because
and isn't it hidden
it's
behind?
right on top here. And it's a weak point on these cars because they can end up leaking, and then it leaks on top of the engine.
That's actually the same issue that the B58s have.
Really?
The common issue with the B58 is that the coolant tank leaks. So the expansion tank, which is this one. So there's a common fault where it actually splits from wherever the seams are.
Yeah, one of the seam probably.
And it actually leaks, and that's.
But the thing is whereas on your car, it won't leak on top of the engine. On that car,
it won't leak on anything important. There's no electronics. There's no anything. There's no ECUs. There's nothing special where if it leaks, it's an issue. Whereas on his car, if it leaks,
pretty much if you catch it early, you'll be okay. Other than that, you basically got to get a brand new engine, which is why a lot of people with these cars end up just making sure that they keep the warranty on it, because otherwise it's not what you want, and it's not a nice experience to have if you end up having to fix that, or not cool basically. So a couple of other things we were just looking at the differences of is, firstly, I feel like it's more of an obvious one once you notice it, it's the height of the engine. Being that it's obviously got turbos, 2 turbos stacked on top of it, and the fact that it's got to be put into this engine bay, it's literally come up right up to this level, whereas on the 540 there's a little bit more space there, so you can see that the height of the engine,
there's a lot more space.
It's what, 2 inches. So it's a big difference. And also the fact that this engine literally is right up to the back of the firewall, whereas on the 540 it's not the case. There's a little bit more space. The charge coolers and everything like that, you literally can't even look through the front of this car, whereas on the 540 there's still plenty of space. being that if you were going to own this car for a long period and you're the kind of person who's going to work on your car yourself, the 540 is a lot easier to work on. This car, oh my god, there's literally no space anywhere. You'd have to remove so many things to get access to things.
Even to do spark plug changes, you have to remove all of this.
Yeah,
Because when we did it on the F10, it was the same issue where
you have to remove the cowl and stuff like that. And
you have to remove everything here. On mine, on the 540, that's it.
the way you lifted that up.
We've got access to all 6 spark plugs and coil packs.
Yeah. The other thing that we noticed the difference of is obviously he's got adaptive dampers, but it's not fully electric, whereas on the M5 you can see the controls up here. It means that, yeah, the whole suspension is basically controlled from the modules and stuff like that in the brain here. I don't know where it is on your dampers, but
I think mine are on the shocks
wow,
because there's a lot more wiring underneath it.
it's interesting how it is that different. Other than that, I feel like the engine bay is basically the same. There's nothing else to really look at. I've got a last question that I want to ask you. Would you have a 530D?
Yeah, I would.
Would you have 530D over yours?
Again, if money is not an object,
No, if money is an object, same spec but a 530D.
I'll go. It's a very tough question. I think it depends on your life. If you're someone who commutes a lot, if you're someone who drives a lot and is conscious of your pocket for how much you're putting in fuel, then the 530D.
Yeah.
If you're someone who does not care about how much you're spending on fuel, 540i every single day of the way, because
I wouldn't get another petrol. I wouldn't get.
It's quiet and as smooth as a diesel.
I wouldn't get a 530e. I feel like they're a waste. I wouldn't get a 550i because they're too similar price to the M5. I would only get the 540i if it was a
In this
petrol.
generation of cars, the M550i is a waste of money. It costs the same as an M5. It's slower. Your internals are weaker. And yeah, if you're going to spend the money, that much money, just get an M5.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about this price bracket, out of the 540i, 530i or E, and the 530ds and the 52, you can't beat it, bro. You genuinely can't beat it. You've got the best. B58 is known to be one of the best, if not the best engine that BMW's made.
You know what?
And there's a reason. There's a reason why.
You see, here's my thing. For me, if I was to go through all of this again, I would ideally want a 540i or a 530d as an estate.
Or a 540e. That's the other option. If you still want the hybrid and you still want to drive electric, 540e. You've still got the B58, but you've got the hybrid technology to give you that little oomph behind it.
I wouldn't have that later on because it's reliability-wise it'd be more of a headache.
It's the same as the 7 Series though.
Yeah, but with that it's a lease car, so it's going back.
Yeah.
Would I want to have that car in 5 years' time? No.
Yeah. If you're buying a used car,
exactly.
Avoid
it's a bit of a headache,
and just go straight petrol. But yeah, if I could change it again in the future, I'd probably go for a diesel.
I think I would go for a 530d estate.
Here's a state. I'm a saloon guy.
I would only want an estate because I've got a kid right now, and you know, having the extra boot space does make it a little bit nicer. But you know what? If I could, the honest truth, I'd like to have a 540i estate, strip everything off of it, buy an M5, put everything off the M5 into a 540i estate, and then call it a day.
Yeah.
That's what I honestly would want to do.
Yeah.
That to me, the ultimate car.
And the good thing is that between the two, there's a lot of parts that are actually transferable, but you don't need to mess around with.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. A lot of the suspension, a lot of the under tray. Is it closing?
Okay, that's fine. We're just finishing up now, so it's fine. Sorry about that.
Yeah, as I was saying, a lot of the stuff is actually transferable.
Would you have a newer shape 5 Series over this?
Yeah.
I wouldn't either. I think the only other contender is a 530d that we could both say we could, you know, join in with these two cars as being a potential. Not a 520d, although you can get them at a good price. I think 530d, that extra power and stuff would be better. Yeah, I think. Have you regretted anything over the 2 years that you've had the car?
No.
I haven't either.
There's nothing you can regret in the car. It does everything you want. On both the cars, they do everything you want.
Yeah.
And they do everything nicely. There's no faff of touch screens and messing around.
There's only a small amount of touchscreens, and it's enough to be okay without it being annoying.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that both of the cars we have no regrets with, both of them have been absolutely amazing to own.
Like I was saying to him earlier, if money is not an issue and you've got the money to burn, M5 all the way. You, as a daily car, you can't beat it. E63S, RS's, they're there, but nah, just not like a Beamer. You can't touch it.
You just can't.
Especially when they cost 15-20k more.
That's the bit that bugs me.
Yeah.
The fact that this is the same price as a C7 RS6, like my brother's old one. I'm like, how are they the same price? How is it not?
And for a car that's was 33k and it's now 24, what other car can you get for 24k that can beat it? That can do everything.
I think, in my opinion,
0 to 60 in 3.67s.
Yeah.
I did 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds in this car after the Stage 3 Plus tune. And for a car that's 2 ton plus, what other car are you going to get that does 0 to 60 3.6?
And it's as comfortable and luxurious.
And it's still as comfy. And you can go to Scotland or London and not feel tired from it.
Yeah, like literally these cars, the shape of them, my in-laws and stuff like that, when I've had them in the car, my mother-in-law's always said that she likes sitting in my car, whereas my father-in-law's car, being a 3 Series, she's like, it's too small, I don't like it.
And looks what, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It's what, a 7-year-old car now? Beautiful cars.
Yeah?
Do you know what I mean?
Damn,
the shape
7 years old.
7 to 8 years old, it's still beautiful.
I think the F10 was still a good-looking car. These cars are just that little bit more good-looking.
They've got the mix of technology and they've got the mix of modern aesthetics. Without being too modern, whereas the generation after ours, too modern.
I think they've missed the boat. The 7 Series I feel like doesn't look as plastic, but the 5 Series for some reason looks really plastic to me. The body shape and stuff, but
half the price of an M5 you can have as much fun. Not as you can't have the same amount of fun, but you can be
almost
very close.
as much.
Yeah, without being worried about how much fuel you spend.
For half the price you can have 80% of the fun.
Yeah, you can have 80% fun. That 20% is a very big difference, but for majority of the people in the world, 80% of that fun for a fraction of the cost is the biggest takeaway that people are going to have.
I don't know, I still have an M5.
Yeah, if you can afford it.
If you can afford it, I would.
There's still a lot of people out there that they can afford an M5 and they can afford 2-3 of them, but they're not as enthusiastic as us in driving. So for them, this is a lot better suited.
Yeah, to be honest,
but it's just good glides.
In all fairness, I was silly for buying the M5. I should have been more sensible with money wise, but I'm the kind of person who would happily spend all of my money on the car. And
like I said, if you've got the money and you can afford it, it's the better choice. But there's a lot of people out in the world that have a lot more money than us, and yet they're still happier with a 540i or an M550i. They want that simplicity in life. They don't want the M car tax bracket.
Yeah, this is true.
Because the guy that owned my car, he's rich. He had the car from brand new. It's a 54k car.
See, my previous owner was a banker. A retired banker.
But the previous owner for mine, he's bought the car brand new. He's serviced it from BMW. He's had brand new tyres. I've seen the invoices. He spent a lot of money. He's now in an Audi RS e-tron, and they're not cheap cars.
Mine moved into a brand new M2 and bought a 340i as a M340i as a.
But that's what I mean. There's the two differences.
Yeah.
Your owner wanted to keep that performance. My owner is, I want to do motorway miles, comfy car, and now he switched to electric because it's probably cheaper for the company. So it comes down to who you are as a person and what you really want in a car.
It's mad. I think these two cars though, they're the best two out of the 5 Series because I wouldn't get a 550i. It's too similar of a price to the M5. No point. Just go for an M5.
And the feedback we're giving you is, I'd like it to be as honest and like realistic, because we've driven a variety of cars.
Yeah.
We've driven a big variety of cars.
More powerful than our current cars, and
like we've both driven the F10, M5 from previous gen. We've also driven a lot slower cars like the Civic, the S2000. So we've got a variety of experience in driving cars. Yeah. And still to this date, these two cars are my favourites.
Yeah, I actually think
if I want a car that I want to go quick and I want to be able to drive around, I want the looks, it's a perfect car.
Simply put, 90% of the cars this would destroy.
Yeah.
And then when you need Big Brother to come out, you pull that out.
And, again, it destroys. So.
And then that's it.
Yeah. It depends on what you guys want.
I think this has been a fun video to kind of film, because honestly we've talked about a lot of these things together, but to actually really go in on everything is kind of different because it's actually made me be more precise as to what I want to say is the differences. So everyone, I think this is a good point to wrap it up, and I think the best way to put it is, if you want pound for pound, probably out of every car in the world right now, pound for pound, the best car, value for money, it's going to be the 540. If you want that car just a little bit more, yeah, basically on steroids, been working out for 6 months, got ripped, you get this. That's all we can say. We've been as honest as we can be about these two cars, and yeah, I feel like either one of these two, they're the best out of this generation BMW that you can get. Better than the 3, better than the 7s of this era in most ways. I honestly, this is it.
And that's coming from people who have come from a 3 Series or come from a 7 Series, for example.
Yeah.
He's had a few 7s and 3s.
I've got the new 7 Series and I still prefer this car. And it's just financially, that car's better for me to own right now.
Yeah. And the 5s of this generation, the gap between the 3 and the 7, it just does both so nicely. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's not too long, it's not too short. It's not too quick, it's not too slow. It just does it all seamlessly. And yeah, 5, I think, just amazing car, amazing. I'm glad I bought this.
Yeah,
game changer, amazing.
I feel like everyone, if you gotta take away anything from this, you know that this is from two people who have actually owned these cars for 2 years and lived with it in very different scenarios, traveling to loads of different places. This is as real as it gets. These are the best two of this generation 5 Series, and hopefully you guys have found this video informative, helpful enough to subscribe to the channel, and hopefully if you feel like I should get him involved in more videos, then let me know in the comments, because it's been nice actually getting you to help out, and like with the filming.
Last time we did this was
the 3 Series a little bit.
3 Series was a little bit, but I think the Golf was
yeah.
We spent a lot of time. We actually had a lot more jokes and a lot more bands. 3 Series was a bit like
because
it's such an easy car to work on. It got done.
Yeah.
The Golf was a bit more like, we did a lot more extreme stuff on it. We did the whole suspension with coilovers. We did.
I don't know. It was kind of funny that one time when I had to come and help you with the 3 Series.
Yeah.
You got stuck.
Well, it's the first time I've ever taken the suspension off my car, and I'm on my own in the garage, and I don't know where anything is. But we got the suspension on, and we got everything done.
Yeah. So if you want to see him involved in more videos, then
like and subscribe, comment, put a comment in there to say that we want him in the videos more, and then I'll be starring more in it.
There we go.
But I think it's good. It's good to have it's 2 different personalities. You got a bit of diversity, and you just got
2 different opinions.
Yeah. You just get a bit more interaction.
Yeah.
So like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. If you want me back in more, put a heart. Spam a heart, and then hopefully
there we go.
The following content coming up should be a bit more,
different.
Is all we can say.
So everyone, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a future video. Peace out. Bye.